Yes, sir, baby, on the Radar Radio. Yo, special guest in the building. Just burned down that freestyle. The one, the only Skeese is here with me. What's up, my brother?
Peace, man. How you feeling?
Good. How you feeling?
I'm feeling great, man. It feels good to be in here.
Want to take whole shit?
You already know. You already know. That's how real MCs do it.
Real MCs.
100%.
I feel like we've been having a lot of, when I bring like, a lot of the people that, you're associated with, your friends, artists, things like that, we always have like this conversation about like what being a real MC means in 2022 now too. What do you feel like it means?
I mean, in a situation like this, when you come in, you know what I'm saying, you come in to burn down a freestyle, you got your lyrics down and, you know what I'm saying, you just drumming, you going crazy. You know what I'm saying? Because like somebody like me, I got a point to prove. You know what I'm saying? Like I've been slept on for a long time, so it's like I want to come up here and show my best. You know what I'm saying?
Why do you feel like you've been slept on for a long time?
I mean, you gotta look at the situation like, being from Buffalo, New York, there wasn't like a lot of opportunities for, artists from Buffalo to get heard in the mainstream or just to be heard really in the underground. You know what I mean? Like outside of the city, unless you really ventured out and nobody really knew how to do it. So, shout out to, Griselda for kind of showing the blueprint.
Yeah, Griselda really helped bring Buffalo and just the North in general kind of like that light and shit like that.
100%. And shout out to my man John Boy as well, man. John Boy, he was like one of the first cats from the town. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He was signed to Soulja Boy back in the day.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? He was like one of the first cats in the town that really put on for a lot of cats, man. It's a lot of different people, man, and it's a lot of history in the town as far as hip hop and different artists, but I feel like Griselda was like really the first collective that came together and like really kind of showed cats how to do it.
Able was really to kick down that door too.
100%.
There's a in your freestyle you had the bar, the Conway bar. Can you say it one time for me? I don't want to say it wrong.
I said they expected a mini machine when Con endorsed them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And I told you, like, 'cause that bar I immediately stuck out when we were watching it back.
Yeah.
So with that bar, like, what did you specifically mean by that? Was it just because like without hearing you, when Con endorsed you, Con brought you in, did they just expect you to sound like Conway? Is that what you were trying to kind of get at?
Kinda, you know what I mean? I felt like when I first came in, like when we first put out Crack in the 90s, I remember, and that was on From King to a God on the Deluxe. And people heard it, and they're like, yo, who is this dude, Skeese? Who is Love the Genius? Like, they both going crazy, and, I don't have the same subject matter as, like, Conway, you know what I'm saying, or Griselda as a whole, you know what I mean? You know what they talk about, you know how they go, and that's what they represent. And I represent something a little different, you know what I mean? I'm real into wordplay. I'm real into, just structuring my bars a certain way. It's different. It's totally different, totally left from what they do. So, I think a lot of people, when they first heard me, it was like, yo, this is so different. I don't know if I like it because, they have a niche in hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like a real cult following. So it was like, almost like, well, who is this dude? Like, you know what I mean? And it was almost like I had to show and prove, you know what I mean, over time, like who I am and what I bring to the table.
And do you feel like you're still proving that, like, even this much time later, too?
Like I said, man, like, I came up here, I had a point to prove.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy, though, because we actually first met when Con came to Angie's show. That was earlier this year, right?
Yeah, that was on the promo or on the press run for God Don't Make Mistakes.
Yeah. And we met, and I remember one of the things that when we were in there, there was a specific moment where Con was even like, he threw it to you. You know what I'm saying? He's like, yeah, like I also, I'm doing my thing, and Everett and Benny and Wes, they doing their thing, but also like we all have our own artists. And he's like, my artist is here in the room with me, and we were standing in the corner together, and I like how he threw that to you at that time too.
Yeah, 100%, man. Shout out to my big bro, man, Conway the Machine. Yo, he's like one of the most supportive and illest people I've known, you know what I'm saying, on my journey in hip hop. And, anytime he has a chance to, like, kind of throw me a lob, like, he's going to do that. You know what I mean? He's, like, just super supportive. You know what I'm saying? He wants me to be successful in this. You know what I mean? I know he sees it in me. So, it's almost like with all these opportunities that I get, I kind of got to go hard, too, because I know that he's, like, watching. You know what I'm saying? And I know that he believes in me, so I don't want to let him down.
Right. And obviously, like, y'all all occupied this space in Buffalo and, like, the hip-hop scene up there, but before, like, did y'all all always know each other? Because that's always what I'm interested in. Because, like, when I talk to, like, Rome or anybody else, I'm like, well, Rome's from down here, but anybody who I talked from up there, like, I always wonder, like, was there always a connection between everybody, or did that come, like, later on in your career?
Nah, so like I didn't really know Conway. Like I knew of Conway since like 2012. I got one of his mixtapes. It was called American Greed. And I heard that joint, and I was just familiar with who he was from there. You know what I mean? I think at the time actually he was going by Cannon. I don't even think he was going by Conway at the time. And he invited me to come out and open up for a show that he did in 2016, I believe. It was a Halloween show, and you know, he had Prodigy, he had, you know, Static Selector came through, you know, the whole Grisada was there. It was a dope show, and you know, I had a lot of people in the crowd. A lot of people came out to come and see me, and he actually told me this afterwards that you know, from that point on, he kind of I was kind of like on his radar. So if he ever did start, you know, some type of label or situation, like I was somebody that he was considering for sure. And so I was working like a regular job, you know, all the way through like from the time I was 16. I was working like a regular, you know, 9 to 5. I was working in sneakers. Like, you know, if you listen to my music, I'm always talking about sneakers. You know what I'm saying? And that was just because I was always around sneakers anyway. I'm a huge sneakerhead. And you know, I was working at this store back in 2020. With COVID and everything, I got laid off. And
during COVID too?
Yeah, it was during COVID. Yeah. I was I got furloughed from work, and then I went back after. And this was like right around the whole George Floyd situation and everything. My store had got looted, so I went back. And the whole situation was crazy. But I ended up resigning from my position there at the store. And 2 days later, that's when Conway reached out to me, and he said that, you know, he had an opportunity for me. And from there, I didn't really hear from him for about 3 months. Then, so in between that time, because I paint as well, I'm a painter, you know what I'm saying? I do a lot of different things. And I was doing that. I was like working on a mixtape. It's called Asphalt Calligraphy. I put that out. And then from there, we had a few sessions like down here in New York. And he'll tell you himself, like Conway will tell you, you know, from those sessions with me and Love the Genius, shout out to Love the Genius.
Yep, shout out Love.
You know, he wanted to sign me from there. You know what I'm saying? Like we kind of started drum work.
Fire. Oh, that's like the beginning of where drum work started.
That was like, I mean, it was always like an idea of his. And I think, you know, he had already had the imprint and everything. Like he already had everything in motion of how he wanted it to go. But that was like really like the jump start of like, okay, we need to do this now.
That's crazy. So that's the beginning of that.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I didn't know that you were working in a sneaker store during the pandemic too.
Yeah.
Like that's...
Well, no, not during the pandemic.
Well, I mean, 2020.
Yeah, 2020. So, man, I was working at the sneaker store, bro, from like 2011 until then.
And at the height of all like the George Floyd stuff going on too?
Well, we had just opened back up. So right before we opened back up, like right before I went back to work, my store got looted.
Okay, so that was before. Okay.
Yeah, it was like maybe a week and a half beforehand.
Damn, man. So you was like, that was just like a very tumultuous time for you then too.
It was crazy, bro. It was absolutely crazy. And like I said, I went back to work, and it was just like, I don't want to put too much of the business out there, but it was just it just wasn't a very comfortable situation for me, and I had to make a decision. And you know, it was one day I took like a week off, and you know, it was like a Friday. I woke up and I was just like, yo, like I asked God for some type of direction, and you know, I was like, what should I do? And you know, the lady from HR called me. She gets on the phone, hey, so you know, did you make a decision on what you want to do? Da 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 da. And you know, I resigned. And then, like I said, 2 days later, that's when Conway reached out. So, you know what I'm saying? It was like literally like a leap of faith. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And just trusting in God.
Prayer and manifestation works.
100%.
I ain't gonna lie. People doubt that shit, but that should really be, 100%. That should really work. Yeah. And I can only imagine, like, also just, like, being there, like, I mean, because even after all the looting and after all that went down, it's like, you're still kind of faking the height of COVID too, because it's like things are open, but things aren't really open at the same time. Yeah. So like on top of like not only like the political climate and everything going on, then like the obviously the climate with COVID, like, and working at a sneaker store that I'm sure a lot of people, there's a lot of foot traffic in and out of, and a lot of shit going on. You're probably like, I'm done with this shit.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. Even like right before, you know, when everything shut down. Yeah. It was crazy because nobody knew what to do really, and like you said, it was a lot of foot traffic. It was a lot of stuff going on. And I'm in the store one day, I just got on gloves. I don't have on a mask. Because I didn't really know. Nobody really had the education as to like, yo, what should you do? What should you not do? So we were just trying to protect ourselves. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. And like you said, like, yeah, it was just a real crazy time. You know what I mean? 100%.
But you made it out on the other side.
Yeah, made it
out. Rolling out in New York City. Rolling out in New York City.
Crazy. Crazy. Absolutely.
Congrats. I didn't get to catch your set, but it was cool because when you were like telling me a little bit about it, like when we were just hanging out here, like you were like, you said normally that you hang out on the side in the back, but this time you got to really get to go out and
do
perform
my
and
thing. You know what I mean? It's crazy because it almost came full circle because the song that I came out when Conway brought me out is called Symmetry.
Yeah.
And when I was telling you that I came down here for a couple sessions that we did here in New York, the first song that I made when we got here was this song. It was called Symmetry. That was the very first song that I made. And I wanted it to come out immediately. You know what I mean? Like, the song was crazy. Conway heard it the first time. He was like, yo, I got to put a verse on this. This song is ill. And, you know, for a long time, he didn't bless the joint. And I was just waiting and waiting and waiting. I'm like, damn, when is he going to do it? Finally, I got the verse. And I don't know if you saw the video, but he put a video up of him recording it. And it's like, it damn near looks like he's like asleep when he's recording it because we're recording at 6 a.m.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying? He's like standing up, his eyes closed, he's rapping. And so to finally like come out, you know, for my first time on Rolling Loud and do that song,
yeah,
that was everything, bro.
Yeah,
it was everything for sure.
Because you was even telling me like you don't get to experience the crowd like that when you're like hanging out on the side, whatever. And like that's like you were on one of the two main stages, right?
Yeah, we were on Duce stage.
Oh, that's the main. That was the left side stage, right? It was like left
I believe
side,
so.
Nova
Yeah,
was the right one.
yeah. The Fashion Nova stage was crazy, by the way. That joint, it had all the screens on it.
That was on that Future was on.
I think so.
Is that right?
I think so.
That was on Future. Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So it was the left. Yeah, it was the left one. That's
Duce stage was crazy. I think Cardi was on that stage too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, Cardi was on that stage.
Yeah, that joint was crazy, bro.
How did it feel? Because was that like the most people you ever performed for at one point?
It was probably if not the most, then probably the second most. A few weeks ago, I did a show. Well, we did a festival. I was with Benny over in Switzerland.
Right, we were talking about the overseas tour. Yeah,
There was like a gang of people there too, but I think Rolling Loud was probably more people.
Was that your first tour overseas, like going and performing overseas?
So we did the Love Will Get You Killed World Tour earlier this year, and we did 5 cities over in Europe. That was Conway's tour.
Oh, it was Benny's tour that got canceled. Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of. Because Benny had a tour that got canceled.
Oh, Benny.
That's
okay.
what I was thinking of. But yes, Conway did have his tour.
Yeah, Conway had the joint earlier this year. I think it was in March. We were over. We did Amsterdam. We did Paris. We did Oslo. We did I forget the other one. I always forget the name of it. Antwerp. And we did Copenhagen, which was crazy, bro. Just being over there, and you know, a lot of people were familiar with me, which I would have never expected.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And shout out to everybody over on that side, man. But you know, I would have never thought I would have got so much love over there. You know, if you go to my Instagram, you can see the videos, and you know, you see people hyped to see me, and you know, not just Conway. You know what I mean? Because Conway, he's a superstar. Yeah. You know what I mean? But for those people that know my words and be singing along with me, and you know, genuinely show me love. You know what I mean? Because at a lot of these shows, on the first couple tours, you know, you will see me at the merch table. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm selling my own merch. I'm peddling. I'm hustling. You know what I'm saying? So when these people see me, it was crazy because a lot of people, they may not have known my face,
right?
But they know the music. So, you know, they might walk up to the table and they're like, oh, Jay Skeese. Yeah, I like Jay Skeese. These are his hoodies, his shirts, CDs, da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, yeah, that's me. They're like, oh, shit, like, what? You know what I mean? And, you know, take pictures and, you know, sign autographs and stuff like that, man. It's dope. It's very humbling.
We were talking. It was funny because when I had like Denzel Curry up here yesterday, and me and him were having a conversation about artists' first time going overseas, right? Like for a tour.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you're telling me this story, and I'm also thinking about some of my younger guys, like Cash and Chow Lee. They from out here. They just kind of really got going like this past year. They've been like going crazy. They just went on their first overseas tour. And I'm thinking about everybody this year who I know who's been going on these first tours overseas. And every time people come back, like they have like these like surreal experiences where they like realize how much people really like love their music, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which I think is really fire because it's like, you know, you come in America and Americans will like not show fake love, but like people won't always show up to the shows, even the people who listen to you. But like you go over there and it doesn't matter who or, you know what I'm saying? Like people are gonna pop out because they're like, you know, oh shit. Like, we finally have somebody from the States coming over here that we fuck with. You know?
Right, 100%. Because, you know, like you said, you know, we're not from there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I feel like, to some degree, you know, over there in certain places, they have more of a respect and more of an appreciation for, like, hip-hop, especially, like, our lane. You know what I mean? Because, you know, obviously there's certain artists who, you know, they do their thing and they're recognized for their talent, their lyrical ability and things like that. But, you know, in America, it's not always about that. Sometimes it's just about like what's hot. You know what I mean? And over there, like I said, it's always, you know, it's a different type of vibe. I've been over there twice now, and it's like they really have a genuine appreciation for like what we do. You know what I mean?
Which is nice compared to getting some of the American audiences and shit like that too.
100%.
Not saying American audiences are bad, just overseas, overseas audiences are just more excited to see you.
Right, 100%.
Because like even like I'm thinking about like when I was at Rolling Loud, I've seen most of these people before, but like I take that for granted. But someone overseas, like them going to Rolling Loud New York, they'd be like, "This is the greatest thing I've ever been to in my life."
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
100%.
And so sometimes I feel like over here we just take our artists for granted.
Yeah, I can agree with you there. I think so. I mean, before, you know, me doing all these shows in different places, like I used to go to some shows, and you know, I used to always love it, but you know, it's just some people, they just don't really appreciate it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, and especially in our culture, like with hip hop, you know, it could be one day like somebody be here, the next day they're not. You know what I'm saying? And then when they're not here, that's when they really get the love and the appreciation. But we got to give people that love now. You know what I'm saying? Like while they're here, that matters. You know what I mean? Like not only just music wise, but just, you know, your loved ones in your life period. Like give them love now, appreciate them now. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? 100%.
Give people their flowers while they're still here to
100%.
smell them type shit.
Yeah, for sure.
I definitely agree with that. So what you working on right now? What's kind of been going on?
Man, I'm always working, man. You know, I got 3 different projects out right now. I got Iroquois Pliskin out. I got that's the EP. I got Revolver Ocelot out. So that was the project I took on tour last year, and I finally put it on streaming platforms this year. Added a couple songs. I got Authenticity Check out now with Big Ghost. I'm still working on my album, Abolished Uncertainties. I'm finishing that up. I got another project. I was talking about it a few weeks ago at Drumwork Fest. Me and Conway, we got an EP together.
Fire.
You know what I'm saying? And then also, you know, Drumwork as a collective, we've been working on like a compilation album as well.
Tough.
So, yeah, so.
You got a lot of projects to keep up with, man. Even when I was like writing everything, I wrote everything down. And I'm like, all right, this is that. Like when I was driving a couple weeks ago, I was listening to all the projects back to back. I'm like, damn, this man got fucking mad music.
Nah, man, for real. Like I just felt like once I, you know, got my foot in the door, it's like, man, I gotta knock this shit down. Facts. You know what I'm saying? And not just for me, for my homies, man. First class to the plane crash. Like, I gotta get my homies in here too. So, you know, I gotta set that precedent. I gotta really, you know what I'm saying, press the issue.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I like that. So you said you work on your album. What's the album called?
Abolished Uncertainties.
Why Abolished Uncertainties for the album?
So for a real long time, like, you know, I've been doing music for a very long time, like since I was, you know, 12, 13 years old. And this is something that I've always chased and something that I've always loved. And, you know, as you go along, you know, years and years and years of trying to do it, and your style evolves and everything, and it's like you're not catching the attention that you think, you know, is warranted. You know what I'm saying? Because you put so much into it. It's almost like I became a slave to my own mind. It was almost like I was losing faith in myself. You know what I mean? Because my mind is telling me like, you know, you can do this, but at the same time, my mind is telling me like, yo, I don't know. You know what I mean? You've been doing this forever. You ain't been hitting like how it's supposed to. And so I felt like when I finally, you know, got next to Conway and signed my record deal and knew I had an album coming out, it was almost like I broke those chains on my mind. And so when I was thinking of a title for the album, I was thinking of, you know, being a slave to my own mind. And it was like, well, I'm abolishing that. You know what I'm saying? Like almost like abolishing slavery. And whatever uncertainties that I had in my life about, or in my mind about, you know, music and where my career was going, I'm abolishing those uncertainties with me putting out this album.
I love that. And you also, I think you tweeted that it sounds like nothing else that you put out before too, right?
Nothing else, man. Like the album is really me. It's my life. It's like, it's literally my life. It's, if you didn't know anything about me, once you're done listening to the album, you'll know me. And not just the rapper me. You'll know me as a person. Jared. You know what I'm saying?
Jared.
Jared. Yeah,
I was like, I thought I heard Jared. I was like, Jared.
Yo, literally what you just did, that's been my whole life. Everybody does that.
Really, Jerry? They say
Jared. Yeah, Jared. They say Jerry first, and then it's Jared.
Jared.
Yep.
I won't ever call you Jerry.
No, it's all good, bro. It's all good. Like I said, it's been my whole life.
It's like, and your whole life. But now, like, I mean, people, like, if people see your name on, like, a sheet, they got Jared.
Yeah. If I say it, though, I guess maybe it's the way I say it.
I think it's the way you say it. I saw you also, because on your Twitter, you got, like, a lot of inspirational stuff that you say on your Twitter. But one of the things that I saw, you're like, it's wild how easy in hip hop it is to become a prisoner to your own success.
Yeah, yeah. I said that it was like right after I saw the news that PNB Rock had got shot and killed, man.
Oh, okay, that was in response to that.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
PNB Rock and all the other, anyone that's lost, anyone, you know what I'm saying?
We lost them again.
Rest in peace and condolences. But, that was a crazy situation. And, you just see that so often, man. You know what I mean? And it's almost like sometimes you can't even enjoy the success that you have. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy how you gotta really fear, and you should know, I guess, better than to go into certain neighborhoods. But it's like at the same time, if I have this success and if I'm going somewhere, why can't I enjoy that? You know what I mean? And I know that there's other people who don't have things and there's less fortunate people, but I just think that people when they want to take things away from people that and these people work for these things, you know what I mean? It's kind of crazy. You know what I mean? It's a messed up mindset to have, but at the same time, you can't be out here looking like a plate of food when people are starving. So, but that was like what I was saying, and behind that, it's like, you become a prisoner to your own success because it's almost like to a certain degree, you can't really enjoy it in the way that you would like to. You just have to move smarter, and there's nothing wrong with that. But that was just like the first kind of thought that I had about that. You know what I mean?
Interesting, being a prisoner to your own success.
Right.
Yeah. I think about that a lot now too, especially like seeing after the PNB Rock stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's like how you can become so successful and you could have so many things going for you, but like you still have to like look over your shoulder and
100%. But I mean, it's just crazy because black astronauts don't have to do that, or like you know what I mean, like black engineers don't have to do that. But at the same time, I mean, when you're in LA, it's been regular people that get ran down on too. So
of course,
you know what I mean.
Like, what are really the odds? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, right.
Like a regular person get ran down on just as much as a rapper sometimes. It's
right.
Right. Sometimes I had this conversation the other day. Sometimes it's just like you got to be careful where you walk. Like if you just walk outside a building wearing the flashiest chain in the world, it's like you're. If you in the wrong neighborhood, you a target. Not saying that's what happened exactly with PNB Rock, but just like in a generalized statement, it's like if you're gonna wear like a big flashy ass chain that costs $200,000, just
yeah, you just
move accordingly.
You just gotta move smart, man. At the end of the day, and it's unfortunate, man. That's all I could really say. Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace, Rock. Rest in peace, Pop. Everybody else that we lost too.
100%.
So we got the album on the way.
No doubt.
More tapes on the way.
More
you mentioned a couple
of
them. I was like, it's like what, 2 or 3 that you mentioned?
Yeah, it's there's 3 joints. And I mean, Pots, how many did we play on the way here? I think, well, no, you know what? I played another one. I started up another one the other day. So it's like, man, I'm working. Yeah, it's 3 joints, and I got another one that's like in progress.
And then the EP with Khan too. Yeah, that's all on the way.
Yes,
Drumworks joint
Drumworks
on the way.
On the way. You know what I'm saying? Like we cooking up, man. We cooking up. We can't stop. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm excited for you, man. Congratulations on everything that you've achieved so far. I'm looking forward to seeing you continue to grow and the people to see this freestyle, because that shit was fucking crazy.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it, man.
Of course. Before we get out of here, let the people know they can follow you at. Anything else you want to let them know, now's the time to do it. This camera right here.
Word. So, yo, my name is Jay Skeese. I'm the separation of Jordan Mids and Jordan Highs, Revolver Ocelot. You know we do everything for Weez. You can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at JAESKEESE, Jay Skeese. You can also stop by my website, Revolver Loaded. That's RVLVR Loaded.com. You can find me on SoundCloud. I'm on Apple Music, all streaming platforms, wherever you at. You know what I'm saying?
Boom. There you go. Make sure you go follow him. Go show him some love. Go run up all those projects he has out now. Love is free. Support is free. But y'all already knew that. Run that freestyle up. Until next time, on the radar, Jay Skeese, Drumworks in the building. We out. Bow.